On July 21, 2013, a photograph of a boy catching a giant crab was uploaded to the internet for the first time. Although we don't know when the giant crab satellite image was first discovered, a 2013 post mentioned something about an aerial photograph of a much larger crab off the coast of Whitstable. If the original blog post was not edited later on, it is safe to assume that this image, dubbed the Crabzilla, was first uploaded to the internet back in 2013. I'm sorry to break it to you, but this is not a real monster, but rather a simple Photoshop trick. As much as I would love to see a giant monster crab, it is just not going to happen. Let's be real. What is it going to eat? Adult human beings? What you see here is a photomanipulation that led thousands of people to believe that a tiny crab had somehow been mutated and was now on its way to feast on human lives. People were terrified, and some of the largest news media outlets covered this story. Some called it a hoax because there was no clear evidence. Even to this day, many YouTube channels use this image in their videos under the title Mysterious Photos That Cannot Be Explained. And we all know how many children are drawn to their channel as a result. In today's video, we will take a look at the legend of Crabzilla and how an artist fooled the internet using a few basic Photoshop tricks. The key to any successful photo manipulation is proper image selection, and the person who created this image is well aware of that. The angle, lighting, and the quality of the crab all perfectly match the background. As a result, less emphasis can be placed on transformation, alignment, and color correction, which, if overdone, can significantly reduce the element of realism and make the edit obvious. When creating this photograph, the artist also took advantage of the low image quality. When I searched for this image on Google, the largest image size I could find was 1908 by 1146 pixels, which was also way too blurry and unclear since it could have been taken from Google Maps. Because of the lower image quality, the artist does not have to be concerned about his camera quality matching that of the background. Furthermore, since the image will be blurry anyway to create the illusion of realism, paying attention to the finer details will be pointless. This could have worked in the favor of the artist. Shadows and highlights are a very important element for creating depth and interaction with the environment. When an image from a different lighting setup is used, it becomes extremely difficult to achieve a realistic looking photograph. As a result, exaggerating the shadows and highlights to compensate for the unrealistic appearance and replacing it with a more believable artistic appearance is a common practice. In this case, everything just seems to fit together perfectly. It appears natural rather than artistic. One method for achieving realism is to take photos of the subject and the environment at the same location and time period. This method eliminates the need for color correction as well as fake shadows and highlights. That, however, would be impossible if this is a satellite image from Google Maps. As a result, I believe the artist must have taken a photo of the crab from a suitable angle. Then he had to do some minor color correction and add shadows beneath the crab to match the shadows in the background. This is done to create interaction between the crab and the environment, giving it a more realistic appearance. However, there is one issue. We don't have any examples to how a shadow cast by a body underwater might look like in this context. The only reference we have here is this pole-like structure, but keep in mind that some of its body is above water as well. But overall, this is a well-executed photo manipulation that accomplishes its goal of convincing people that this is a real photograph. As I mentioned earlier, this is a very simple Photoshop edit. With the right images, even beginners can easily recreate this effect. So, let's get started. The first thing I did was go to Google Earth and find some suitable places for my crab. I landed on Maldives Island and an African coast. I then imported the Google Earth screenshot into Photoshop and cropped out the UI. Then I aligned my crab with a previously prepared guide. After that, I added a hue saturation adjustment and tweaked its settings to help the crab better blend with the background. The background was then duplicated and given a layer mask. I painted away the layer mask with a soft black brush, revealing the crab. This creates the illusion that the crab is submerged underwater. To simulate low image quality, I used a small amount of Gaussian blur to soften the sharp edges and blur the fine details. After that, I added a drop shadow and adjusted the angle to match the trees on the beach. This will add another layer of realism to the photo. I played around with the masking layer to achieve a satisfying look. I repeated the same steps for the second image as well. The only difference is that now the photo's idea was different. In comparison to the first one in the Maldives, I wanted to make this crab more submerged underwater and give it a more frightening look. Here are the two images that I created. I put them back into the screenshot and rendered them to look like they were taken from Google Earth. To be honest, it appears to be quite realistic and was also quite simple to create. Now then, I believe it is time for me to start a commotion online and make a name for myself. Given how much the internet has changed in the last 8 years, and how many people are becoming interested in this fascinating niche of photo manipulation, it is probably not going to be a good idea. So it is unlikely to fool anyone, at least not any longer. However, this wasn't the case back then. No one realized it was a fabrication until the image's curator admitted it himself. Otherwise, no one would have known it was just an edit and would have assumed they lived next door to a mutated crab. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to support our work and want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. With that being said, I will see you in the next one.